Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the day 3 of this Tailwind Bootcamp. I hope you have enjoyed the day 1 and day 2 and are equally interested for day 3. Today, we will be building the web app, entire web page using Tailwind, using what we learned on day 1 and day 2. In addition to that, we will dig deep into Tailwind and learn about directives like @apply, @theme, and so many other things. Are you guys excited? Good evening, Kavi. Good evening, guys. Good evening, Daisy. Good evening, hello, Disha. Are you guys excited for today? Give me a yes or no. Fantastic. Let's get started. The web page that we have been seeing from day 1, now it's time to build because we have learned all the nitty-gritty details. We learned how to make it responsive. We learned about container. We learned about Flex. We even learned about grid. Now let's put all of that together into the form of a presentable, exciting, and responsive web page. In this web page only, I will tell you how we can effectively use directive apply, how we can effectively use theme, and some other things as well. Without wasting any further time, let's get started. So what I just have a very basic index HTML. I have already installed Tailwind, of course, using the Tailwind CLI, right? So I have the output CSS. I will just link it here and we will get started. Let me also share how this page looks right now. As you, of course, know, it will be a blank page. Now we have to convert this blank page into something like this. I also have the images with me in the assets folder. I already have them. You can use any images. You don't need these same images. You can have any image, but make sure the images are of a good resolution. I got these images from a website called Unsplash. If you haven't heard of it, do Google Unsplash. Okay, first up, the basic layout, the basic structure of the web page, which has nothing to do with Tailwind. It is pure HTML. Let me go to the web page. Let me see what structure do we need to write. Okay. Well, before starting, let me remind you today there will be much of coding, less of talking. So bear with me. If you want to create it side by side, let's get started. So the first thing I'll be building is the header. Then I will be building a section and I will be giving it an ID. Let me call it the hero section. This will be the hero section. Then will be the section for features. Then will be for products. So section features and products. After that, there will be section for contact. And then we will have the footer. So this is the basic HTML. Plain and simple, nothing fancy. Let's dig deep. Inside the header, I would need a heading here and a menu here. Of course, in a practical example, you will have a logo here, an image that is. So home, features, contact, and login. This is the header. Let's talk about the hero section. These IDs have nothing to do with Tailwind. As you know by now, Tailwind is all about classes. So was Bootstrap, so is Tailwind. These IDs are just for our references to differentiate the section from one another. So inside the hero section, I would be needing two divs. Let me call them left and right. In the right-hand side, there will be nothing but the image. I'll apply the SRC. In the left-hand side, there will be a heading, a paragraph, and a button. So let me copy paste the heading. And as you can see in this heading, we have the last few words in blue color. That would mean I would have to put them inside another tag. Span is the best for such purposes. There you go. Let's copy the paragraph. And the button. Button says get started. There you go. So this was the left, this is the right. Yeah, for the right hand side, so this image is, let me see the name, web design. So we have that, web design. Let's see, assets, web design JPG. There you go. So this was the hero section. Copy paste, yes, copy paste is something that we developers live by, Diksha. And there's absolutely no shame in accepting that. Yes, we do copy paste. The only thing is you should know what to copy and what to paste. Let's talk about the features. So the features will have 3 feature boxes. Let me call them feature. I'll have to give it class because I cannot repeat an ID. In the feature, so I have this icon, this heading, and this paragraph. Let me also tell you a very interesting thing, how you can get these icons. ChatGPT. That I will leave to you, Diksha, when and where to use ChatGPT. That is entirely up to you. Yes, Daisy, and where to use. Yes, you should know that as well. Okay. So for these icons, let me tell you where I got these icons from. So this is specifically for Windows. If you are onto Windows, if you press the start icon and full stop dot, the start and dot will give you something like this pop-up. The 3 icons that you see there are coming from this. If you search for lightning, you will get this icon. Right? First I'll have to put it in a tag. So let's put it in span, Windows and full stop, Windows dot. If I search for lightning, you will get this. Let me get the other 2 as well. Then we will separate them. The other 2 was, so this is color palette and this is moon. So if I again press the shortcut, if I search for palette, there you go. And if I search for moon, sorry, not here. If I search for moon, so this is the moon. This is how you can get icons. Let me put this inside this, the second feature, and very similarly, the third feature inside which we will have the moon. Right? Along with the icons, we need a heading and a paragraph. Again, Control C, Control V. If you are into Mac, Command C and Command V, that is copy paste. Hi, Soman, how are you? Let me copy and paste these in the other 2 as well. Then we'll change the content. Let's see if we can copy and paste. Hello, Ashmika. How are you? Well, copy paste can be a little bit boring sometimes, but that's how it is. There you go. Hello, Kunal. Kunal, did you attend the previous classes? Hi, Kulsum. Good evening. Shruti, hello. Good evening. So, this is our features section. Hello, Samara. Let's move on to products. I think I missed this heading in the features, right? I think I missed this heading. Yeah. Let me open this features again. Yes, I missed the heading. Let me collapse them. Hi, Roshan. So let me prepare that heading which says features. Nothing else. Okay, Kunal. The product showcase div is not very different than the features div. It will have a heading and 3 boxes. Let's get started. Product showcase. Then 3 product div. After live lecture I attended. Okay. The feature has a photo, an image instead of the icon. So an IMG, then a heading, then a paragraph, and a button. The button will say buy now, so buy now. Again, Control C, Control V, or Command C, Command V, depending on the OS you are in. There you go. Okay, so for the image, let's see, assets. Let me put an image. Again, copy and paste. So this was the first product, the second product, and the third product. So first was device tech. Let's give it gadget tech, product 2. This will be product 3, and the photo will be product tech. Let's change the paragraphs. The button, because says the same thing, which is buy now. If someone get the feeling that I'm moving ahead too fast, do let me know. And if you also think I'm moving slow, do let me know as well. So this is the products section. Let's collapse this. Let's move on to the contact. Contact also has a heading, but this time it has a form. First the H2 rather. Good evening, Hardik. So it says contact us. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Daisy. This will have a form. Now, inside the form, I need a label and input, and I will bind those label input in a div. So that means a div. Thank you, Anjesh. Inside that div, I would need a label and an input. Copy and paste. Second and third. So I think this one is email. Input type email. This one will be message. Message has a bigger input, that is a text area. So a text area. And submit button, of course. Button type submit, which says send your message. Right? Okay, last, certainly not the least, the footer. Does anyone know? No, sir, it's easy to learn. Yes. That is why I'm also moving a little bit faster than previous days. Does anyone know how can I print this copyright symbol? I will not copy and paste it. I will write it using code. If anyone can tell me in the chat. No? All right. Well, let me tell you how we can get that copyright symbol. These are known as HTML entities. You can get the copyright one like this. And copy semicolon will give you a character entity representing copyright symbol. You can have register symbol, the R in a circle. You can have so many symbols or entities using code like this. All right. So I think our HTML is somewhat done. It will not look nice. It's not supposed to. Let us see how does it look without anything from Tailwind. So this is what we want to create, and this is what we have. Not looking good. Huh? So we now have to convert this into this. If anyone has anything to ask or tell, any questions before moving into our Tailwind part, please feel free. Okay, let's move ahead. So we already have linked the output CSS. Okay, Miraj. Okay, Sonam. Fantastic. We have linked the output CSS, but if you remember, we have to still start the Tailwind, and we can do that in the terminal. Okay. Like you, I have also forgotten the command. Worry not. You can always copy and paste that command. Let's go to the Tailwind website. Let's go to docs. So the command is CLI. We first have to go to CLI. The command is this one. We have to copy paste it, but we have to change it a little. So now, because we do not have the source folder, so I will remove the src, and my input file is named style. So I will say style, and I will remove the src. So this is the command to start the Tailwind. Let's see. As soon as you see done, fantastic. You can simply pop down the terminal. All right. Let's start with the header. No. Let's start with the background color on the body. Right? Let's start with that. So as you can see, it's a shade of blue. This color is a shade of blue. If you remember, I told you that this web page will change the background and text color depending on the system theme settings, right? Let me also show you once again. So I will be taking care of that as well. So if I switch to light, you will see the text color, background color changing, right? If you remember the dark pseudo class that we can use, so we will be using that. All right, let's start. Keeping the dark thing in mind, first onto the body. So we can apply, as you know, as you can see, it's a blue, shade of blue. Which is it? Oh, it's not a shade of blue actually. My bad. It's a shade of gray actually. If the theme is not dark, then the color will be this. However, when the theme is dark, the background color will be BG gray. Let's say 900. So 900 will almost take it to black, but not black. There you go. Of course, we'll have to change the text color, and which we will do. So this is the background. If I change the theme to light, you can see the color changing to gray 50, right? Let's move ahead. Let's also change the text color. On light screen, the text will be darker, so gray 900, but the text has to be on the bright side. So if on the dark screen, the text will be, you can have gray 50, gray 100, whatever. So the background is darker, but the text is white, or you can say lighter. If I change the theme, the background and the text color both have changed. Yeah, Sanjay, you will get the certificate through LetsUpgrade. Yes. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's apply flex and padding and container, all of that. All right. Okay. So we will apply the container and all of that. First, let me open the style CSS. If you remember if you remember on day one, we wrote this in the style CSS and this, nothing else, this and nothing else. Today, I'm going to write something else in this. I'm going to write a directive called add apply. Not apply actually, add theme. Let's see what it does. If you notice the font, how the text is written, it is not the default font. This is not the default Times New Roman font. Right? The font that we have to change it. Although Tailwind has its own font, I think it's something like UI Sense or something. What I want to tell you is how you can customize Tailwind to get classes of your liking, to get custom variables of your liking. What I want is, I want a different font on this website. First, what I'll do is, I'll get the font from the internet. Fonts.google.com or Google Fonts is the biggest library out there of fonts. So I can choose any font that I like. For this particular web page, I will choose OpenSense because it looked very similar to what this website has. So what I'll do is, I'll go to the website fonts.google.com, select OpenSense, then I'll go to this cart. You have this OpenSense here. I'll click on Get Embed Code. I will click on this button. You don't need to download it. You need to click on Get Embed Code. Yes, Google Font is what we are using. If you want to change something, you can, although it's completely optional. If you don't want to change, it's fine. I will just copy what is this on the right hand side. I'll click this button, copy code. I will go to my web page. That is, I will go to my HTML. In the head, remember this thing goes in the head. I'll simply paste what I copied. There it is. Now, what I want to do is, I want to apply a class on the body called font OpenSense. As you can see, it is not a default class in the Tailwind, because as soon as I write, as you can see now, the hinting is there. In this hinting, there is no font dash open or anything. So that means I am creating a custom class. Right now, this will do nothing. For this to work, to create a custom class, I will go in my style CSS and there I will apply theme. There I will apply theme. Let me also show you the definition of @theme. If you can read what is written. Use the theme directive to specify which config Tailwind should use when compiling that CSS. Okay, not so good. You will find a better definition in the documentation, uh, which I believe you already have, and some examples of @theme as well. You must have a Notion document in your uh, documentation of the video, documentation in the description of this video. So @theme, the class that I used was font OpenSense. So what I'll do is I'll create a variable like this, which will have the name which I used, like this, font OpenSense. This name and this name has to be the same. Now, what will this font OpenSense do? That is, what property it will apply, what value it will apply, that you will have to write. I'm saying wherever this is used, apply the font OpenSense, and in case OpenSense cannot be downloaded from the internet, as a fallback, apply sans serif. Now, courtesy of this, if I go to the browser, in our web page, that is, if I refresh, if I open up the inspect element, this is the body. I have already clicked on the body. If I go to this computed tab, I hope you are able to see this. If I go to the computed tab, let me zoom in a little. Can you see the font family being displayed as OpenSense? This is how you use @theme. @theme is something which we use especially when we are dealing with big projects that involve Tailwind. Can I get a yes or no in the chat? Did you guys find it interesting and did you guys understood it or not? Hi, FreeWeb. Let's move ahead. Now let's apply the flex and the grid and all that. Fantastic. Let's shift our focus now to the header. Yes, you will get the certificate, FreeWeb. I thought you were here to learn Tailwind. I think you are here to just get the certificate. No worries. Yes, you will get the certificate today. So I'm applying two classes, flex and justify between. I hope you know by now what these two does. Let me show you what these two will do. As you can see, the brand name is there and the menu is there. This is what flex and justify between will do. I'm applying padding on the top and bottom. I'm applying padding from the left and right. Now, when I apply this, you will see both coming down a little. Right? Along with justify between, let me also put an item center. If you remember from day one, if I do not put item center, what should be like this will be like this. So I think some students got confused with this concept, which we discussed day one and day two as well. The concept was of container. So this is right now looking fine, okay, but this is only looking okay on the big screen. Okay, okay. You might be thinking we haven't worked on the UL. So let's first work on the UL. So let me apply the classes flex on UL as well. So they will be horizontal. For spacing in between, let me directly apply space x6. What space x6 will do, it will apply margin in between the elements all at once. If you remember, if I do not apply space x, instead of this, I would have to apply padding on each and individual li or anchor. So instead of applying padding 4 times, let's have space x6. Space x will apply horizontal spacing, space y will apply vertical spacing. As you can see, well, now the header looks good for the big screen. What about the small screen? What about when I go from a extra large screen to a large screen, from a large screen to a medium, from a medium to a small screen? I want those transitions to be smooth. For that, we will use container. I think in yesterday's class, what we did was we applied container here, right, as an extra div, as a separate div. Well, let me tell you, even if you apply container here as well, it will work just fine. So no need to apply the extra div. Although you can, this shall work fine too. Let's see what happens now. On the big screen, the header still looks like this because the difference will be on the smaller screens. The difference will be when you switch from one screen size to the other. Let me tell you, as you can see, the menu is expanding when I go up and shrinking when I go down. This is the doing of the container class, right? Let's move ahead. So we have to color this, we have to color this. Let's do that. You can have font extra bold. This will no. This will be font bold only. Then we can have text 5XL maybe, and we want the color. So text blue maybe 400. Let's see. नहीं काफी बड़ा हो गया. We don't want that big. So let me make it text XL only. This is fine. Let's shift our focus now here. There are some things which might seem very ordinary to you. Well, ordinary or not, we have to work with them. So let's apply a BG blue 600 maybe, text white, some padding, PY2, PX4, and we want the borders to be rounded. There you go. Ta-da! I want the header to be a little bit away from my browser's border. As you can see, the distance here is a little bit more on the top. Let's do that. So we applied PY4. Let's make it PY6 only. Now, PY6, PX6 can be combined to be as just P6. P6 means x-axis also 6, y also 6, so P6. There you go. If you want more, you can adjust it more as well. I think we have to increase the brand name as well, the size of brand name as well. So instead of Excel, let me make it 2XL. Fine. Move ahead, right? Let's now focus on this. When I'll be dealing with the photo, I'll be telling you a very new property. I think many of you might not have used that, might not have heard of that property. So I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So let's shift our focus from the header to the hero section. The top classes will be the same, that is container. And because I want the sections horizontal, so flex, or rather, let's use grid. Let's use grid. On the big screen, we want each of the div having we want the grid to be divided in two columns. That is, half of the screen will be taken by this and half of the screen will be taken by this, but only on big screen. Now, responsive utility classes. On smaller screen, I would want the grid calls to be 1, and I would want calls 2 only on screens that are bigger than medium, that is, that are bigger than 768. We did it yesterday as well. On big screen, we will be having this, but on small screen, we'll be having this. Let's see it in action. So on big screen, as you can see, both are horizontal, but if I go small, if I go below 768, ta-da, right? Interesting enough? Okay. Yes, we also want some gap between these two. We'll apply that. So the px will be the same as this one, but yes, the py I'll be increasing to 16, so that we'll have enough gap between the header and the hero section, something like this. I want this to be in the center. As you can see here, this is in the center of the image, almost center. Ours is at the very top. So along with display grid, I will have item center. Align item center is a property which is common in both display flex and display grid. Align item center is common and works exactly the same. Item center will take my content to the vertical center in the div. Do you remember the max width property, max W? I will be applying that on this div. As you can see right now, the paragraph is taking the whole space, while it should only take this much. The easiest way to do that is to limit the width. So on the left div, what I'll be applying is max W. I think we applied max W SM yesterday. Let me apply max W LG today. Max W LG will be, that is, the maximum width it can have is 512 pixels. Let's see what it does. As you can see now, the div has limited width. Let's see if we can change the color and the font size of all of these and have some gap between them. Okay, what was the color here? Text blue 400, so we'll have the same color. So what is it between SM and LG? 1 second, Patrick. So text blue 400. There you go. Oh yes, it has to be bold. Yes, it has to be bold. And text, text white actually. The text is white, my bad. And the text has to be bold. Actually, let's make it extra bold. Font extra bold. And only the span part will have the color as blue. So that will be text blue 400. If I do this, if I go back, there you go. The CSS v4 is coming downstairs. Okay. It should come up. Okay, it should come up. I think the size is smaller. Okay. Let's see what I can do. So I applied text 5XL. If I make it text 4XL. No. Okay, so max WLG instead of LG. Let's make it MD. Let's make it MD. No, MD will be smaller here. I have to make it bigger. Sorry. So LG is 512 pixels. If you remember about custom classes, LG stands for large, small, SM stands for small. Yes, thank you, Imran. So the LG was by default giving me 512 pixels. As you saw, it's not working for me. What I want is something a little more than 512, but not as big as extra large. So I want something in between. So if I make it 550px, let's see. There you go. Now the CSS v4 are not coming downstairs, but where I want them to be. Custom classes, right? Now I want some gap between here. Let's talk about the gap. Margin bottom, that is MB. If I give it MB4, MB4 will be 16 pixel margin on the bottom. There you go, gap. I want the same gap below the paragraph as well. So I will apply the MB4. Yes, Frederick, fantastic. So I will apply the same class on the paragraph too, MB4 that is. And now we have the gap here as well. Now let's style the button. Let's style the button. So the button has a blue background. Oh, it also has the transition. I think I forgot. Yes, this button also has the transition. So let's apply transition on both of them. MB stands for margin bottom. Similarly, MT stands for margin top. PT, padding top. PB, padding bottom. Padding, background color, text color, okay? Which gives us this. Oh, we also want the borders rounded. So rounded. Okay, so we want a darker background and some little bit more padding. So rounded will be rounded LG and this blue will be 700. And let's increase the padding to PY4, or let's make it P4, that is PX4 and PY4. So now the button, all right, the color is fine. I want the horizontal padding a little bit extra. So PY4, but PX to be 6. There you go. For the transition. Right now on our button, nothing is happening. But if I go to the reference, you can see the background color is changing and changing smoothly. For that, let me first apply transition. Let me apply the duration to be 300. And when I hover over it, the background, which is BG blue 700 right now, will become BG blue 900. Right? Ta-da! The same thing that is happening here. And you can apply the same thing to this button as well. I'll leave that to you. However, if I talk about this image, as you can, I don't know if you can notice or not, this image has a somewhat lesser height than my image. As you can see, my image is more squarish than this one. This is more like rectangular, while this one is more squarish. One and two, it has rounded borders and shadow. So rounded borders and shadow, that is not a problem, right? Let me apply those rounded borders and shadow. Let's apply rounded LG. Let's apply shadow LG. But what about the size? It is still squarish. I want it to be rectangular without compromising on the image quality. This is important. Without compromising on the image quality, I want that free web we can change the image size. I will not be changing the width and the height without me actually changing the width and height. I will make this squarish looking image into this kind of an image. Let me tell you a very good property. Let me show you that as well. So if I go to Tailwind website, if I search for a property called aspect ratio, have any of you used this property before? Can anyone tell me yes or no in the chat? Have you used this property before? Oh, fantastic. So I've applied a property called aspect video. As you can see, now my image too has a lesser height but almost the same width, and there is no loss of image quality. Aspect ratio. Now my image has an aspect ratio of 16 by 9. 16 is the width, 9 is the height. Aspect ratio. If you haven't heard of this property, if you haven't used this property, I would very much request you to read about it, maybe on MDN, then come to Tailwind CSS and see what different options that you have. It's a very fantastic property, aspect ratio. Let's see how does it look on the small screen. It is looking fine on the big screen. Let's see how it looks on the smaller screen. As you can see, yes, it is working fine. But you can see a little bit gap here, right? Which is not on the left hand side, a gap which is only on the right hand side, both on header and in the hero section. Well, we can change that. In order to change that, a property which I think we used yesterday as well, I'm applying it both on header as well as on the section, a property called MX Auto. MX Auto will take the entire header and entire section and put it in the center of the screen, which will by doing so, you will have the same space on both the left and right hand sides. Let me show you now. As you can now see, I have the same amount of space on both the sides. MX Auto. And now it looks even better, doesn't it? Even better. Yes, on a smaller screen, on a medium screen, I should change the font size of the heading, which I will do. But now you can see there is an equal amount of gap on both left and right hand side. Guys, is it interesting enough or not? Do let me know. So I have fine-tuned the font size. On big screens, it will be 5XL. On medium screens, it will be 3XL. On an even smaller screen, it will be 2XL. And let me also do something like this. On small screens, both the divs will have a little bit of gap. So what I can do is, on medium screens only, it will have MB2. Sorry. On small screen, it will have MB2, and on medium and bigger screens, there will be no margin bottom. Please make note of what I am doing here. Let me show you practically. So the big screen, everything is fine. But if I go smaller, okay, let me also show you what is the heading, what is the size of the heading now. Oh, it's not 3XL. Okay, something, I think I have done something wrong. Okay, let me see. Okay, 1 second. Text 2XL, SM 3XL, MD, and above 5XL. 48 REM pay. Text size will be 48. Text size will be 30. And text size will be 24. Well, seems fine. Right now it should have been 3 text XL, no? It's not 3. Okay, we are running out of time. It's all right. So, okay. Despite the heading not working, what is working is, let me tell you this, what other change I did. When I go on smaller screens, you can see a little bit of gap between the divs. That is the margin bottom. Can you see the orange line? That is the MB2 that I applied. If you want, you can increase this gap as well. So what I did was this. On smaller screens, it will be having MB2 or MB4, but on bigger screen, there will be no margin. That is what I did. So now you can see gap here, but no gap on bigger screens. Okay, let's shift our focus now onto the features. Same container, same MX Auto, and same grid. This time, on small screens, yes, grid calls 1, but on bigger screen, that is MD and bigger, I want 3 columns, so grid calls 3. Doing so, there you go. Features has to be in the center. And let me apply some padding, which I applied on this section as well. Padding was this, so let me apply the same padding. The heading will be in the center, so text center. Let's keep it simple. Text center and text 3XL. Font bold. I think that should do. Okay. Array. Okay. I think. As you can see, no, a little bit of wrong HTML on our part happens. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm removing the grid from here. I'm removing the grid classes. I'm applying the grid on a new div which will have just these three features div. So what I'm doing is this, a new div here which will have the three feature divs. Let's apply the grid. Oops, sorry. Let's apply the grid on that. Grid. Grid calls 1 on small screen. Grid calls 3 on MD and bigger. I think that should do it. There you go. Yes, we have to apply some margin bottom on the features. We will do that. So this will have MB6. There you go. So I want the background colors. I want some gap as well. So let's say gap 4. DG gray, I think 200 should do it. 400, let's say 400. Let's apply on both of them. Yes, we need rounded LG. There you go. No, they have to be a little bit darker. Okay, so instead of rounded 400, let's say 700 or 600. Yeah, that should do it. Okay. Someone, I think, asked yesterday if we can apply both flex and grid together. I think I showed it to you as well. Let me apply it today in practical as well. So what I'm doing is I have applied grid on the parent, but I'm applying flex on all of these three. Flex, but applying flex straight away will make them horizontal like this, and this is something I don't want. Don't worry. Flex direction column or flex call. Flex call. Again vertical. I want everything in the center. Item center. There you go. I want some padding as well. So PX6, PY8 maybe. There you go. Now it's just font size thing. Font size of the icon, font size of the heading. That I believe you can do it. Let's see if it works on the smaller screen. It should. Yeah, working fantastic, guys. There you go. It's working as smooth as butter, isn't it? The font size thing, I'll leave for you. Okay, we have to apply the same thing on the product div. Copy and paste. And yes, the same mistake we have done on this one as well. So what I'll do is I'll have this div from here. Copy. I will apply the product. I'll bind the three product inside this div. The background colors are the same or not? Yes, the background colors are the same. So let me copy the background color as well. But yes, we need less padding on these one. Yes, we need less padding. We need less horizontal and vertical padding. That's the only difference. So let me copy it first. So yes, for the padding part, let's apply P4. Copy and paste. It's a wonderful thing. Copy and paste. Let's see what we have. Not bad. Not bad, huh? But yes, of course, for the height, we have to do something. What can we do for the height? We can use the aspect ratio again. Okay. So I think what we can do is, yes, first let's make the image have rounding borders. We need some margin on the bottom, and let's apply the same aspect video on the image. Again, copy and paste. It's a fantastic thing. There you go. And copy and paste on this as well. Okay, I think we are missing quotes. I don't know if you can notice or not, the image looks a little bit stretched. Right? If I can compare this image, you can see the MacBook Pro here clear. You can see the mobile here clearly. However, both are stretched, and the speaker also is stretched. Another very interesting property, another very interesting class, object fit cover. That is object cover. Let me know in the chat if you have used this property before or not. Yes, I am making the image perfect. Now the images are perfect. The same thing which I did with the heading features, you can do with the product showcase. You can keep it in the center, you can increase the size, and you can increase the margin from the bottom. That I will leave for you. You will have to apply margin bottom on the product and apply some background colors and text color on the buy now. That I will leave to you. Okay, this does not, okay. One thing that we have done wrong is not everything is in the center. Okay, so let me remove the item center. We don't need the item center on the product div. We don't need the item center on the product div, which we needed on the features. So let's remove that. If we do that, yes, you will see the these thing in the left hand side. The padding, the background, the text color, that I will leave for you. Guys, are you finding it interesting? Let me know in the chat. Let's shift our focus on the contact form. I believe we are making the contact form for the first time. Let's collapse product. Text center, the same thing. So what did we apply here? Okay, let's copy paste. There you go. Fantastic, guys. So the contact us is now in the center. We now have to take the entire form in the center and we have to restrict its width. As you can see, the form's width is this much only. In our case, the form has the whole width. So we have to reduce the width as well as we have to take the form in the center. We have to do both of them. You can see the form having the complete width. We have to restrict the width and we have to keep it, move it in the center. Let's see if we can do that. By now, you are very much familiar with this class. Let's give it LG. This will restrict the form's width. Let me see if it works. As you can see, now the form is smaller in size. We have to apply some background color. We have to round the borders. Let's do that. Let's apply some padding also. And for the first time, I'm using space Y property. We have already used space X. I'm using space Y now. Let's see what we have. So what we have is this. So this is the form. Now we have to keep it in the center. Well, no points for guessing as we have already used that property MX Auto. MX Auto will bring the entire form in the center. Of course, no boundary, no nothing for the inputs for the text area, not looking good. Let's do that. What we want is something like this. Okay. So we want rounded border and a background color on the inputs. Let's see if we can do that. Full width. We want border. We want the border color to be gray. Gray, that is, let's say 300. We can change it if we want. Gray 300 on the light screen. On the darker screen, we want a darker border. So let's say 700. Not Gary, it's gray. What else? Yes, rounded borders, of course. Some padding. This is good for now. Let's see what we have. There you go. The background color is not working, I believe. So we did not give the background. Oh, we did not apply the background color. So BG gray 50 on light screen, but BG gray 700 on darker screen. Oh, we want a darker one. So instead of 700, let's say 900 maybe. There you go. Let's copy and paste onto this one and onto the text area as well. There you go. Yes, we can increase the text area's size. All we need to do is text area by default has a property rows and columns. Let's see if we can do this. Oh yes, fantastic. We need to do something about these. Okay, so you just have to bold them. You just have to make them bold. You just have to apply a little bit of margin. That I'll leave to you. But yes, if you notice, if I put my cursor in the input, you can see the outline, which we don't have as of now. Actually, we do, but not looking as good as in there. Let's see if we can do that. We have an outline class for that. Okay, so we're already running out of time. Okay, so let's pick up the pace a little. Let me tell you all about what I'm writing. Let's say 400. Okay. Copy and paste. It's a fantastic thing. Oops, sorry. All right. So what is happening? First of all, we have that blue outline. So what I did is this. First, I removed the default outline. If you saw, there was a by default gray outline. I removed that with the help of. So when someone clicks in the input, that it is called as focusing in the input. So when someone focuses, remove the default outline. Focus ring 2 will have a 2-pixel outline. We'll have another outline which will have 2 pixels of width, but you can't do just with pixels, just with the width, and that 2 pixels will be blue in color. So when I now focus, the default outline is gone, a 2 pixel blue 400 outline is there. That is what we have written on all 3. So I'm leaving the button for you as we are running out of time. I'm leaving the guys make interaction with. So, okay, thank you, Anant. So I'm leaving the button part for you. That's nothing new. You can do it. As for the border, all you have to do is apply text center and apply some padding. That also you can do. However, if you take a look at the HTML, I think you might also agree this thing, as you can see, it is going right to the edge of my VS Code. The HTML code itself is not looking good because of so many classes that we have applied. Don't you think? And on light theme, okay, let's see if we have made changes for the light theme. This is how it will look on the light theme. I think I forgot to add the background color here that you can add, but it will look even good on the light screen and on the darker screen as well. Right? I did not make it center. I have left it for you, FreeWeb. Please, you have to do it. What is the what's this darker screen thing? Manpreet Singh, did you not attend yesterday's class? If not, I would recommend you to please watch the yesterday's recording on YouTube, then continue this one. So as I was saying, this is not looking pretty. This is not looking nice. What I'm doing is this. Alan Philip, it's a choice. That toggle button will require 2 lines of JavaScript because we don't know JavaScript as of yet. This is not a JavaScript session. That is why I have kept it according to the OS's default theme, OS's theme. If you want a toggle button, that would require two lines of JavaScript as well. When the button is clicked, we have to apply a dark class on the body. But of course, that will require JavaScript, so that is why I'm not going that route. So the thing I was saying is this. What if I can apply all these 8 to 10 classes by just writing something like this? If I can write a custom class, let's say form input, and that custom class, if it can apply all of this, my HTML code also will look pretty, just like my output is looking, isn't it? Yes, Kavi, I understand your concern, but yes, I would agree with what Daisy is also saying. Don't worry, you always have the option of going back to the recording on YouTube. Pause it whenever you feel like I'm going too fast. Reach till that point and then continue forward. So as I was saying, instead of writing all this, if I write a custom word and that custom class can apply all of this. So what I wrote, I think, was this form input, right? That will make my HTML code even look pretty. I will write form input on all these 3. If I go to the style CSS, if I write @apply. So the name I wrote was form input. Yes, अब ये material मिल जाएगा आपको, don't worry. I think I'm writing something wrong. Okay, 1 second. Let me check into the notes. It's all right. Sometimes we also forget. Okay. So, so the class I wrote was dot form input, right? Inside form input at the rate apply, and all the classes that you want applied when someone writes form input in the HTML. This is the use of at the rate apply. Don't worry if you see the squiggly line, that is entirely fine. It is not of our concern. So what I've written here is form input. Let's go and check our page. As you can see, I have still all the classes. And my HTML is also pretty. Isn't that interesting, guys? My HTML too is pretty, isn't it? So let me write the word form input instead of all this, because I know form input will do the job for me. Two directives that we have studied today, guys: at the rate theme, at the rate apply. Can you tell me, did you understand both of them? Yes or no? Fantastic, guys. Okay, py. Instead of py 16, let me give it pt 16. There you go. pt 16, and let's say pb 8. There you go. Oh, let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay, we'll watch that one. But thanks for your experience. Thank you, Manpreet. I'm glad you had a very nice time. Let's say text sm or md text gray 400. There you go. So the footer is in the center. That is all I will do with this. Yes, I have knowingly left some pieces out for you to do the font size thing, for you to do the background and text colors of this, and margin and padding, and for you to set the background color and transition on this. I will open the forum for any questions that you might have. Some light color. Colors, Harsh, I will leave for you now to apply. That is all I will do. And yes, you will get this code along with the notes in the link that LetsUpgrade has provided. Of course, I will add this code right after this class. Any questions that you might have, guys, for me? So show in phone screen. There you go. Let me put it in phone. I think we forgot to add that hamburger in the header. Okay, apart from that, okay, why it is showing like this? Okay, we forgot to add the header, the hamburger, that is. Okay, let me very quickly add that hamburger. It is not looking good. Okay, let's go to Font Awesome. Let's copy the Font Awesome CDN link. Let's paste it. Let's go to Font Awesome's website. Let's search for hamburger or menu, whatever. Come on. Yes, there it is. There you go. Copy and paste. So let's paste the hamburger here. All right. So I will put the hamburger in a span, if you remember from day one. So what I will do is the span will not be visible on big screen. So MD hidden. That is, on medium and bigger devices, hide this. And on small devices smaller than medium, oh, sorry, it has to be class MD hidden. My bad. Class MD hidden. On smaller screens, the menu will not be hidden. So flex on bigger screen, but on small, hidden. If I now go back, and thank you, FreeWeb, for this. If I now go back, if I hit refresh, there you go. A fantastic responsive web page for you. Let's see it in tablet. Well, looking fantastic in tablet as well. Right? Let's see it in a bigger tablet. Fantastic as well. And on large screen, though, you know how it is. It is nice indeed. Some improvement can be done. Yes, I agree. And that I will leave for you guys. Guys, did you find it interesting? If you did, do leave your comments on the video. Do leave the like. Do subscribe to the channel. I will meet you in the next bootcamp. Till then, I'm Rohit Jain signing off. Have a very good evening, guys. Thank you.